We are here today to resist the state takeover of our schools. The state has been controlling our schools for 15 or more years, and nothing has improved. We've done everything they've asked, and it's still not enough. So in order, we are entitled to protect our democracy afforded to all other cities and to control our own schools. More than that, we are here to insist that our children get the schools they deserve, to find joy in learning, and to make schools more than teaching to the test.
Of reading or teachers or whoever applies for the grant, they get to apply that. What it's saying is that the commissioner can appoint someone who has to apply for that grant for you, and they can take up to 25% in operational costs to manage that grant, and that are proven providers. So watch out for hidden things that take away our rights to public education, because that's one of those small areas. We saw 100% of our kindergarten grant reduced everywhere in the Commonwealth to provide early education for kindergartners and to provide paraprofessionals in kindergarten classrooms. In the current budget the governor's proposed, there is no money to support kindergarten. It was cut down to zero. And that's something we just took a $28,000 cut because of Chapter 9C cuts. So just stay engaged in the process.
Some folks decided that they want to be sort of the dictator over these districts that they don't like, or they want to use you as a laboratory, that they're going to tell you better than you yourselves as to how you're doing your jobs. And that's why it's important for folks like myself, who is a parent of 3 public school students, to say, you're doing an excellent job. You can look yourself in the mirror every day with complete confidence and know you're doing a great job, because I have the kids to prove that you're doing a great job. And they're getting a great education. So it really disturbs me when I see state officials interjecting themselves in this way, because nobody has a monopoly on all the right ideas. We recognize that there's issues. We recognize that scores aren't as high as they want to be. We're all in agreement on that. The difference is that somehow the state seems to suggest, or certain individuals in authority, that they've got this secret sauce. And the folks in this room are turning a blind eye to the magic solution to fix all the problems. And that if you would only just do what they say, this magic solution, all of this goes away. We know that's ridiculous. Never once have you heard from Commissioner Chester, just take him for example, because he seems to be leading the bandwagon here. What's the secret sauce? What's the secret solution? You tell us that, we'll go do it. I don't need you to come down here, fire our administrators, fire our teachers, hire some company from Texas to go do that, right? We've got the people here to do that. Fact of the matter is, I think this is more about political agendas and somebody trying to score points. This isn't about trying to just improve test scores. And so I think it's very important for us to have this fight, because it's about what kind of community we're going to have here in Hoyle. That we care enough that we're going to stand up for our kids, and that we're going to stand up for these principles of local control that have been given to us. This was something sacred given to us, and we shouldn't just allow that to go away. Because when you allow it to go away once, they're going to be back at the well in the future. Someone?
I also want to say a couple of things briefly. There are some people who feel that the mayor does not stand with you in support of local control.
Is he going to make a public statement?
He has actually.
When?
At the State of the City address, he stood in front of the City Council, in front of the public, and said he stood with Holyoke.
He needs to be more clear.
Okay.
Once?
No, not once. He also signed, I could continue, and I could relay this message from the mayor. If we'd like to go another way, I can sit down and we can take that on. But that's not the approach we should have here today. It's not an us versus them. We are all...
In the community, that the mayor's come out as strongly as the city council and the school committee at large. And we would like to hear that he is 100% behind us. And I personally am curious as to what could possibly be a more commitment that he couldn't spare half an hour of his time for this. And a concern that I haven't heard the mayor address. We are being judged on our test scores.
Yep.
Our test scores are affected by the transient population in our city, which has been quite an issue of concern. There are, I thought I heard in the news last night, and don't quote me on this number, 222 homeless families in Western Massachusetts. I believe, what, 144 of them are in Holyoke? Come on. I've heard Dominic Sarno come out and say that the 360 homeless in their city is an elementary school. I've heard Mayor Koss come out against it. I have not heard the mayor come out and say that the homeless hotel population in this city is affecting our schools.
He absolutely...
And it will affect her. I have not heard it, and I've been
I'm sorry that you haven't heard it, but he has said that.
I mean, he needs to send out a stronger message.
Okay, what I can let you know is this. Thank you, and I'm going to relay that to the mayor. I certainly will.
I don't really see anything.
I certainly will. I'm happy to relay that to the mayor.
I think that's important for him to understand that the people in this room, no matter what he has said or done, don't feel that he's supporting them.
Okay.
And beyond that, there are some people in this room who think he's actually asked for a receivership.
Okay.
And maybe that if that hasn't happened, then maybe that needs to be clarified as well. I mean,
I was just going to make a suggestion. You know, I think it's really hard sometimes for this little group to get the message out. They're being shut down in a lot of the schools with robocalls. They're not allowed to send things out to parents. Very often, you know, I'll see a parent on the street and they're like, what are these meetings? I haven't heard about these meetings until they're over. You know, because it's Facebook and it's word of mouth. Would it be possible? I mean, if everybody is really, you know, against this takeover, would it be possible for the city officials to put on a meeting? Because that would get more people here and it would get the word out.
This is a really bad situation, okay? Good teachers have left, really good teachers have left because of the top-down operation of the current administrators and the state. It's like, shame on you, your grades are bad. Your test scores are low. You're a bad teacher. And we've been hearing this over and over again. Now, it's all the discussion is what is on School Spring? Who's applying for what job outside of the district? Teachers are running from here so quick. We need our community to come together and put their arms around us and say, we got your backs. And we will not allow you to be shamed anymore because you teach children in poverty. Because you don't want the teachers to leave that are leaving.
And
even people.
The children are leaving the district.
And I just finished my master's degree, and I don't know if I want to apply to teach in Holyoke. Not because I've been working in Holyoke since 2001, and I don't know if I want to apply to work here because not the children's, not because they live in different, situations that I do. It's because what the school committee is doing, not the school committee, because Chester. I just want to teach. Am I going to teach in Holyoke? Am I going to be in a good teaching environment?
We want you to teach in Holyoke. And
how you guys are going to help me to feel comfortable in September in my job? How am I just going to go and apply when I just feel like everything has to be about the test? I want to teach.
If we get these guys down here on the 24th, we better have one hell of a turnout for that. Because if the State Board of Education shows up, after we push them to show up down here, we're going to have a big crew for that.
Conversation's just been one-sided. Nobody's listening to them. Nobody's willing to sit at the table with them. And what I'm trying to do, as the president of the teachers, is change that whole dynamic. I'm making the table myself, and then I'm inviting people to the table. Because it's been the other way for too long. We've been an afterthought. We've been something that nobody really considered in the decision-making. Because these problems, believe it or not, we talked about them when they first decided to make it into a K-8 model. that we would encounter some really serious issues, and yet nobody listened to the teachers. And here we are 10 plus years later, dealing with the problems we said were going to be occurring. So we need this table to be our table, and on that table are the students, are the teachers, are the parents, principals. We welcome everybody to the table. Nobody gets excluded from that table. I just want to be clear about that.
Well, either one. What we need is actual formal public statements by politicians, by individuals in our city that have some power and authority and influence about their position on this issue. Because right now, to the public, the way it appears is that we're fragmented, we're disenfranchised, we're not unified, and showing up to a meeting, and we appreciate that you're here, but showing up to a meeting is not the only way to show support. Anybody can come to a meeting, right? Actions speak louder than words, and that's the problem that we're having right now.
She's saying that dropout, back then, dropout, they got pregnant. That's like, that's not that they're dumb, is that they can't do school and a child at the same time. So it's not that they weren't smart enough or not educated, it's just that they didn't have enough time to work in school and also with a child.
Yes, sir.
I just want to applaud you and Kevin, because you stayed for the whole meeting, and the last half hour has been the best part of the meeting.
It always is.
I find it peculiar, interesting, whatever you want to call it, that the mayor and the state representatives left, and I got the impression they couldn't wait to get out of here.
That's because they had their coats on and were walking towards the door.
Well, I know.
Thank you.
Am I wrong or am I not wrong? Is he in fact in charge of all?
Yeah.
Dr. Pius is in charge of the district, yes.
Okay. I never see him on TV. I never see him in print. I never see him anywhere. And when I go onto the internet, I find out he's got kids that aren't even in this school district. Now, I find that very disturbing as a parent to follow a gentleman's agenda that is not even willing to put his own kids at risk in this school system and stand beside me as a taxpayer and a parent. And until that happens, I'm sorry, I can't agree with it.
And wasn't part of his contract that he relocated?
Oh yes, he has to be here, but he has an apartment.
He has an apartment.
That covers his...
So legally he's covered.
Legally he's covered, absolutely. But he goes home every Friday evening, comes back every Monday morning.
What do you have to say, Gus?
Listen.